All right, let's circle back and talk about Letsile Tebogo as well as Gout Gout having just competed at the Maurie plant meet down in Melbourne, Australia. Both of them maybe upsets, maybe surprises. I don't know. We'll kind of talk through it a little bit here. But first off, Gout Gout, he came into the 200 probably as the favorite, considering he had all the hype, considering he had all the excitement, considering he has the fastest personal best out of anyone in that field. But he ended up coming in second place, 20.30 seconds to Lachlan Kennedy, who got the win in 20.26 seconds. Now, first off, this was a huge performance for Lachlan Kennedy, who had never broke 21 seconds in the 200. He was coming off the silver medal in the 60-meter dash at the World Indoor Championships. So he was really kind of riding off a high where also prior to World Indoors, he had competed in the 60, competed in the 100, kind of outdoors in Australia. He had been having a very good 2025 season. So for him to get the win in the fashion that he was able to do it, I think this speaks volumes for maybe myself. I even had doubts after, his 6.43 outdoors early in the season about his long-term success and potential to be competitive, going towards the season. Obviously, this isn't a master like, oh my gosh, Lockie's going to be a threat and all that. Not all that yet, but I do like this performance from him. Again, specifically how he did it. But Gout Gout, just behind him, second place in 20.30 seconds. This, of course, was a surprise considering, like I said at the top, the hype, the excitement, all the attention that Gout Gout has been getting over the past year or so since he really broke on the scene as a 16-year-old. But the way that Lachlan Kennedy actually won this race is something that I've been speaking about over the past few videos as it relates to Gout Gout and him going up against some tough competition. With Lachlan Kennedy, he of course has an explosive start. He's like a 60, 100-meter runner, and he came out the blocks extremely fast and led the field coming off the turn. He was ahead of both Gout Gout as well as Caleb Law, who ended up coming in third place. But that's a situation that Gout Gout has not been in a very, very long time, going back to the World U20 Championships last year when Walaza got the win in the 200. So as I've been saying in previous videos, how is it that Gout Gout is going to be able to respond? How is it that Gout Gout is going to execute? What is going to be going through his mind as someone is either right next to him or ahead of him like Lachlan Kennedy was in a 200 meters coming off the curve and then leading down the straight, which eventually Lachlan Kennedy did. Now, this shouldn't diminish what Gout Gout has done. He still is a young phenom. He still is an extremely talented athlete, but I think it speaks to the fact that let's not rush him to become the next XYZ yet, because athletes are still going to need time to develop. Athletes are not going to just be placed into every single race and all of a sudden be dominating as they were in previous races where they weren't facing the same competition. This, I think, is an example of that. Now, to be fair, Lachlan Kennedy had a massive, massive personal best in the 200 meters here. I think he said after the race that he's only run like 4 200s or something like that. So this 20.26 really does speak volumes about his ability, about his capabilities, and what to look forward to as we, progress through the 2025 season. Australia does have their national championships in about 2 weeks' time, so we'll be seeing how that plays out with all these guys who are in the race. But Lachlan Kennedy, probably a favorite for the 100. I don't know about favorite for the 200, but he'll at least be able to provide some competition to Gout Gout and some others as well. But I do like how this might translate in terms of his long-term success at the short sprints, the 100, the 60, of course, and the 100-meter dash as well. Years down the line, he might become one of those guys that will be entering the conversation to be competitive outside shot to win a medal, whatever that may look like, in years to come. Now, Gout Gout. I really want to harp on the point that we shouldn't diminish Gout Gout's talent in any capacity. And we also shouldn't rush to make him a medalist or a world record beater or whatever it may be. This race, though, does show that we need to kind of like pump the brakes and acknowledge the races that he's been in have essentially been some solo time trials. And now that he has some competition similar to World U20s last year, this really does kind of give him a little more experience for what's to come. He has already communicated that the Tokyo World Championships later on this season is his target for 2025. And there, at the end of the day, he's going to be going up against, some of the top guys in the world, whether that is a Letsile Tebogo, whether that is a Noah Lyles, a Kenny B, or even someone like a Joe Fambale, or even someone like an Alex Ogando, all guys who have run significantly faster than he has. Now, again, me personally, I'm not picking Gout Gout for any type of medal. I just want to see him continue to make progress. And we'll see how that does go throughout the 2025 season. Now, before I talk about Letsile Tebogo, last thing I do want to know, me and Coach Rob did specifically talk about Gout Gout and kind of like, the conversations and the community thoughts around him. One thing I did know is now that Gout Gout is 17 years old and he's been, breaking all these age group records, the age group record for 17 is 19.84 by Arian Knighton from back in 2021 when he ran it in the semifinals at the Olympic trials. If he doesn't break that time, it doesn't matter, right? It does not matter. What if he only finishes out the season with a best of 19.99 seconds. I think that is perfectly fine, and I think we as a community, as fans, as whoever, should be okay with that and acknowledge that there is progression to be had. Just like last year, Letsile Tebogo, or coming into 2024, everyone was saying like, yo, he could break Usain Bolt's world record. Yo, he could run 19.2, or he could do this, that, whatever. But he ended out the season with a 19.4. Did we think that, Letsile Tebogo was any less of an athlete? No, if anything, he grew in terms of his stature. He grew in terms of his popularity. He grew in terms of, people saying what his potential could be. He got the gold medal. Yes, I know that's important, an important piece of it. He got the, amazing 4x4 split, very important piece, but there is still time for athletes to develop and to grow. Gout Gout is 17. So that's one thing. The other thing is Letsile Tebogo, like I was just mentioning, in the 400, he actually finished second place to Bayapo Ndori, his training partner, who ran 45.14 seconds. Tebogo ran 45.26, and then Luengo Scacchi ran 45.60. So Botswana, those three guys training together, they went 1, 2, 3. And one interesting conversation around this is this an upset? Would you consider this an upset? And same thing for Gout Gout. I wonder, go in the comments, let me know, would you consider this an upset? Now, prior to this, we already had spoken about a couple times how Tebogo had run 3 400-meter races. One of them, he ran like 48 seconds. Another one, he ran 46 seconds. I think he won that race. And then another one, the last one 2 weeks ago, he ran 45.4 seconds, finishing second place to Bayapo Ndori, who ran 44.5. Now, entering this competition, I actually did think that Tebogo, as well as Ndori, would do a little bit better. I was predicting maybe 44 mid to 44 low. I said maybe if things are great, they could go sub 44, which wouldn't surprise me because of, their talent, specifically Tebogo. But he came up for second, and they didn't run nearly as fast as they did while they were in South Africa. Well, at least Ndori. Tebogo did improve just slightly here. But with that, I don't know if this is as much of an upset as it is just the nature of where we're at in the, in the season right now. Tebogo he said that he's ending off his 400-meter season for now. He's not running any more 400s. He's shifting focus to the 200, and then of course the 100. From here on out, he's going to China. He's going to Doha. He's going to be running, I think, hundreds all throughout, and then World Relays, he'll be on the 4x4s. But I think that because we're coming off the Olympic Games last year, where he had such a legendary performance in the 200 and the 4x4, that maybe does provide some perception that he is this, amazing 400 runner, which he is, but what are his goals for 2025? What does the 2025 season even look like? If he's focusing on the 200 and the 100, and then he knows that the World Championship is at the end of the year, these early season meets may not be as indicative of his true talents, right? And someone like Ndori, he runs early season 400s very frequently and relatively fast. I think 4 of his top 6 performances have come from either May, April, or March throughout his entire career. So he is someone who has been able to perform, faster a little bit earlier. Tebogo has also been able to do the same, but I don't know if I would say that this is an upset, and I don't know if this is truly indicative of, his performances that are going to occur later on in the season. And I think I speak of this as someone who has been seeing what he's done throughout 2025 already. If you're someone who, and this is all due respect as well, but just saying, if you're someone who's only seen him coming off the Olympic Games, then your expectation at his first kind of major outdoor meet in 2025 is, oh, he's like the best guy in the field right now, so clearly he should win. But context is absolutely essential. And I almost think of this like with Noah Lyles when he raced IShowSpeed. I didn't do any video about it, as I'm, maybe one day I'll generate a little more interest for it, but just a thought that, let's say IShowSpeed actually did beat Noah Lyles. Yes, I don't think it would have been a great look for the sport, but I also don't think that it would have indicated that IShowSpeed took down Noah Lyles or IShowSpeed upset Noah Lyles. Why? Because you have to understand the full context around it, where Noah Lyles, I think, had just started base training and fall training like a couple weeks before then. I don't even know if he had ever run in spikes for the past couple of weeks leading up to that, maybe not even since the Olympic Games. And, all these kind of things have to be taken into consideration. I think they literally just walked up to the track and, landed on the 50 meters. Noah Lyles is not always the quote-unquote fastest man in the world every place that he walks. On Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, when he's walking on the sidewalk, he has to be the fastest man in the world at that point. Sure, in name, but in practice and execution, that's not always the case. So I look at it similar with Letsile Tebogo here, where sure, he's probably, in my opinion, the absolute most talented 100, 200, 400 sprinter walking this earth right now, but that's not a fact of life every single moment that he competes, or every single moment that, he's at a competition. Like, I don't think that's reality. So him losing here, I don't know. It is what it is. We have a very, 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 very long season, specifically for those not competing in Grand Slam track. In my opinion, I'm going to be holding athletes in Grand Slam track to a different standard, because I feel like those meets have some importance, where Kenny B, Fred Curley, Gabby Thomas, Sydney McLaughlin-Veroni, like they're competing at Grand Slam track at a meet that matters. I don't care if it's in early April, I don't care if it's in late May or whatever it is, like those meets matter. But when you're talking about these other athletes and their sole focus is the World Championships, and you know, that's a whole other thing as well. But you know, it's just different. It's different in terms of the conversation. But let me know what you think about Gout Gout, Letsile Tebogo. Again, I was just kind of going off on my thoughts, initial thoughts here. Definitely check out Coach Rob. He kind of went into more detail with his kind of initial reaction really late at night. But shout out to all of y'all for watching. Go in the comments. Let me know what you think. I have a couple videos coming out on Grand Slam track and my predictions in the next couple days leading up to Grand Slam track. So let me know what you think. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Always appreciate y'all, and thanks for watching.